any spiritual life. There's this rich man who was dying, and as he was taking his breath, and he saw in there the director of Apple, Apple computers, and as he looked at the machines, he actually said it's vanity. Everything that he has attained is vanity. That even in his last breath, a machine should be doing it for him. What for was my life? I'll tell you about a young man by name also of Norm Larson. Norm Larson was a man who wanted to attain something. How many of you have used WD-40 before? WD-40, you have? You have WD-40. You know WD-40? You have. Okay, those of you who haven't used WD-40 before, it's a form of a spray which you sometimes loosens bolts and nuts and rust and other things. Okay, WD-40. You know the story behind WD-40 and why it's called WD-40? You don't know, but you use it anyway. Okay. Norm Larson was someone who prepared in a chemical way, prepared chemicals for Eurospace and for them to actually cover items that would not absorb water. It is water deterrence. So he was preparing water deterrence. And the reason why he was doing that was to say, when they go up in there, sometimes the water can get into the items and rust it and whatever. So if you spray it with WD-40, it deters water from going in there. And he had tried the 40th time. That's when he succeeded in able to produce a chemical that would deter water. And he labeled it and named it Water Deterrent 40th time. The 40th one. WD-40. That's what it means. It's not that he did. WD-40 means nothing. But he said, I have tried it. This is the 40th one that actually worked. And to him, that was success. Because his aim was to attain, design or develop something or manufacture something that would deter water. And until he got to that, he said, I have not succeeded. Church, I want you to know success is relative to what you think, to how you want to think it, how you want to go with. So begin to change your mentality. Someone outside there might look at you or look at me and say, oh, that man is very successful. But to me, I might say, no, I'm not, because I've not attained my goal yet. I've not reached yet. So as you walk on the surface of the earth, begin to think that, what is my goal? If you have no goal, you roam aimlessly. There's a popular saying, if you don't know where you are going, any station on there is okay, because you don't know where you are going. But if you know where you are going, when you reach a station where you know you are going the opposite direction, you can say that this is an opposite direction. Sometimes we find young ones around us aiming nothing. They aim for nothing. All they do is they eat and then they leave. Eat and leave. And you ask them, what do you want to attain in life? They don't know. Let us give them a purpose to live for. Ask them, my son, what is your purpose? What do you want to attain in life? My daughter, what do you want to achieve in life? And guide them. because we all need guidance. Do you know why teenagers and adolescents talk on the phone a lot at night and don't sleep? I know my son sometimes doesn't. He stays in his room and you could actually hear him talk. And he keeps me sometimes awake by his talking, and I have to go into his room and say, my son, can you switch off and sleep? But it's not his fault. Let's not blame him. Where he is at now, the hormones and the chemicals in his body are more active at night, and so they are awake at night and want to sleep during the day. And sometimes when you go to wake him up, I have to actually kick his leg in there and say, look, son, it's daytime. But he's like, oh, daddy, what did you say? So even Britain have thought of designing a teaching time where the young ones, the youth, would have an hour or two of siesta and then come over and continue. Or design something that they will go to school either later, so they will have the day to sleep and then get up later and then go back to school. And if it works for them, fine. Begin to look at what you want to do in life. Success. Now he said, above all things, I wish you prosper. What is prosperity? Prosperity in itself is to enjoy what you actually have in the success that you are joyfully moving on, because the Bible talks about the righteous shall flourish, and flourishing is the same as prosperity. And to flourish, you need to enjoy what is here to flourish. When you plant a tree and the tree is flourishing, the tree uses what is in the soil to flourish. Am I right? So the apostle was saying, my son, secular prosperity is desirable. My son, for your own sake, health is also desirable. And my son, your soul's prosperity should equate your health and your physical prosperity. Ask yourself, does your soul prosper? Does it? How is your soul prospering? The state of the body has great influence on the state of your soul. The state of your body has great influence on the state of your soul and your mind. Do you know that if you are always a sickler, you can get sick mentally? There are people who want to kill themselves because they are physically unwell. I have worked with some people like that. The state of your body can affect the state of your mind. So work on your body. What did I say? Work on your body. There are things that you can do to get your body going. When my son says goodbye to me, he wants to go to the gym. I asked him, why do you go to the gym? He said, but you can come back. He wants to. He goes, and then he comes back and said, Daddy, just feel it. I'm preaching about my son. That's fine, because he won't come and beat me up. So he goes, and then One day he saw me and said, I wouldn't have a six-pack like you have. I don't have six-pack, it's already covered. But see, the state of your body affects the state of your mind, because when he saw that he need to work on his body, it's affecting his mind. He's thinking that, oh yes, I'm achieving something. You know that in the Latin saying, which I'm not going to say it in Latin, he said that a sound mind is in a sound body. A sound mind is in a sound body. So get your body going. Eat good food. Don't eat McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken and what are the things that you buy? Come on. Nando's. Nando's. Chicken and chips all the time. Pizza. Rice. Oh, Africans, we like rice. Hey! Africans, we like rice, oh. That's what contributes the waistline. Hello? The waistline is all fat from what? Carbohydrates. The carbs are good, the carbohydrates are good, but regulated. There was a time in my house, we cooked three cups of rice, the next day it's finished. And another three. And then it got to a point, for about 2 months, we have not cooked rice in the house. And everybody was thinking that we are trimming, aren't we? Right now, if a month's time no one has eaten rice, it doesn't bother anybody. Let me tell you, good food helps your health. Be choosy in what you eat. Because I tell you, if you feed this body junk, junk will come out of it. And your wealth, the prosperity, the success that you have, you can't even enjoy because your body cannot enjoy it. Probably we don't preach this in church, but I'm letting you know that someday your spirit will want to go, but your body cannot go. Your spirit will want to be praying, but your body is not that strong. And then you'll be lying down. And your mind is on your body, which is failing. I know there are accidents. There are incidents that cannot be explained, might not be what you didn't do. You understand that? Sometimes certain things happen that is not about what you didn't do. It could be some disorder which even was not determined or found out or discovered by your GP. That is different from you taking care of your body. Go to the gym, but don't forget your Christian things, your solical things that you need to do. Work out. Or buy a treadmill in your home and then go on it. Get your quads, your abs, everything, your gluteal muscles, get them toughened, get them trained for this work. Eat good food, broccoli, very good. Now you see, some of you don't like broccoli because it doesn't look. Eat good broccoli, eat good Brussels sprouts. Oh. Very good. Yes, asparagus, eat them. Chickpeas, they are very good. Figs, they are very good. I like that. Did you hear that? He said our children don't like it, that's why she cooks rice every day. Cease from cooking rice every day. Apart from today. You change from today. Thank you. Give them salad every day. And don't put salad cream on it or mayonnaise on it. Make it plain. And then mix up things. You can mix up walnuts. They are very good for the brain. it pays to eat healthy. You need to buy it. You need to buy healthy food. Don't go to the supermarket and buy the white bread. Buy seeded bread. Get the seeded ones in there. They are very good for you. What did you say, madam? You know, exactly. She doesn't eat bread at all. I said, don't eat, you see, because of the carbohydrates in there. Sometimes it's very, the gluten can affect you. So if you want to buy things that are gluten-free and other things, they also help your body. Okay, you see, we are talking about your body here. We're talking about your body. It is good. It is good. Stop sitting down all the time, watching TV, changing channels. If you are changing your channel, it is also good to get up and then change it, those of you that have buttons on there. But you can't be a potato couch or whatever it is, just sitting down and then changing, and then you calling your wife or your husband, can you bring me tea? And then call your daughter, make me tea. Get up and go and make it. Even by getting up and then walking up and up to just go, it's an exercise. Look, that doesn't mean when your mother calls you to go and make tea, you don't make it. The bishop says you should get up and go and make tea. Your body being in good health. When you pray, the spiritual part of prayer is that you are exhaling, you are getting your breath out. Work out and get your stamina in the physical as well. Because your spiritual should equate your physical. Don't eat too much sugar. It is the worst thing ever you can eat. Sugar. The worst thing you can eat, sugar. If you are someone who likes sweets, cut it off. Cut it off. Because what happens to sugar is this into your body. The very moment a drop of sugar gets into your body, the cells are activated so hard. Your brain is full of energy. You are put in super drive. And it burns so much. Until the sugar is gone, your body is always on hyper drive. And sugar can cause a lot of cancers as well. Yes. It's the worst poison you can put in your body. Rather, if you are someone who takes sweeter things, get something like pure honey. If you want to put something in your tea, get honey. Or drink tea without sugar.
No, doesn't taste nice.
Or cereals without sugar. Get some yogurt on it.
No.
And you'll be fine. That's exactly what I'm saying. Don't put sugar on it. Don't put sugar because they've already put a lot of sugar and salt. Those of you who drink Coke, that's the worst drink you can ever have. I don't mind whether Coca-Cola will come and sue me because I'm saying this. If you take a can of Coke, that is the 330 ml Coke can. It has about 20 teaspoons of sugar in there. About that. About 20 teaspoons of sugar in there. And everything that is actually processed contains a lot of sugar and salt. Salt is not good for you so much. Every carbohydrate you eat has some salt and sugar in it. And that should be enough for you. Don't cook with added salt if you can. I'm telling you how you can work out your body. Your body will be active. your body will be good. Alcohol. If you are someone who drinks, I'm not saying don't drink at all. I have nothing to say to tell you don't do this, don't do that. I only tell you what is good for you. The Bible even says that don't be filled with wine. It didn't say don't drink wine at all. Let people use that and say, oh, Bible say, and so they use that. And so some time ago, that uncle is already dead. He was drinking so much, and he went to the doctors, and the doctor said the way he has gone to, if he stops drinking, he will die. So he should drink a calabash full. And when he went out, he bought the biggest calabash he can think of, because he said just drink calabash full. He didn't actually measure exactly. It was not specific. Church, I want to let you know your body is a temple of the living God. Take care of it. Do you know dandelions? Do you know dandelions? They are the best you can ever have. They are best, they are good for your body. Eat dandelion salad, juice it and drink it. It's bitter though. It's bitter. Cabbage juice. Juice your cabbage. Spinach. Get iron in there. Because cabbage juice help a lot with gastric ulcers. Previously, before they produce lansoprazole and omeprazole and other zolzols that keeps things down, cabbage juice was one of the best things they used to heal ulcers in the body. I'm talking about, they even ground it and then put it on proper sauce, and it helped. I'm talking about success, how you can actually have your spiritual health and your physical health. Unless our spiritual prosperity be at least equated to our secular prosperity, the latter, which is a secular prosperity, ceases to become a blessing. Unless we're able to equate it, it ceases to become a blessing. So as I talk about your physical health, I'm also talking about your spiritual health. There was a teacher who was a Baptist teacher. I've quoted him here, a Baptist teacher. He was one of the most prominent preachers in the Baptist church, Charles Spurgeon. And this is what he said. He says, health is necessary for the enjoyment of your prosperity. What would all else be without it? But spiritual health should be one that you need to take exercise on. Never be low in temperature. That's one thing he said. Never be low in what? Temperature. Emma, what new? Never be low in temperature. Because lukewarmness is a sign of dying spiritually. The Bible says in the book of Revelation that he, God, he, Jesus, he, the Spirit, does not like lukewarmness. So if you be hot, be hot. And if you be cold, be cold. Lukewarmness. Let your heart be one that would always be strong. Never fail in your appetite. Always have a good desire to eat. Eat your food. Have a good appetite and eat. Sit down and eat like a king. Eat a lot of proteins. A lot of proteins is good for you. Not a lot of red meat all the time. Because what Ghanaians we know how to do is we don't spend money to buy proper fish. We buy a lot of red meat. Red meat is good for you, but eat that in moderation. Fish is good as well. Omega-3 and omega-6 oils, they are very good. Just look at me. So let also spiritual food be appetizing to you. There's a time in my life when if I wanted to sleep, I'll pick the Bible. And as I read it, it puts me to sleep. Because it was boring to me. I didn't have any appetite for spiritual things. But if I want to grow spiritually, I need to enjoy the word. I need to enjoy the word. Don't have any difficulty in having an appetite for the word. Pick it up, whether it's morning, pick it up, whether it's evening, pick it up. Anytime, even if I feel like sleeping and I pick the word up, the sleep just vanishes. How many of you have been sleeping and you are eating at the same time? Only children do that, to be honest. When I was a child, my mom said, I'll be sitting by my food and then I'll be sleeping, yet I think I'm eating. But now as you are growing up in spiritual things, please let the word of God be sweet to your taste. Those of you who cook food, don't add too much oil. It doesn't help. If you want to eat oil, olive oil is nice. It's fine, but also in moderation. And don't buy the refined ones. Buy the virgin olive oil. It is good. Coconut oil is also very good. It slows down the destruction of your brain cells. And so you won't catch dementia quick. Your brain will always be active. You can use coconut oil as a spread even on your toast, which is very good. Sesame seed oils, they are very good for you. Don't go for sunflower oil and they are good. I'm not saying they are not good, but use that in moderation. There was a time in my life when my mom cooked and there was no oil, she would send us to go and buy oil and then she would pour it on top of the soup. How many of you didn't experience that? That when your fathers, I'm talking about the older generation that were brought up back home, he has to feel the oil on the soup. That's what killed them quicker. So please, what I'm saying here is that as much as I'm preaching the word, I want you to be healthy. Trim yourself. Trim yourself. Trim yourself. Don't go lethargic. Don't go lethargic in your spiritual life. Be willing to be lively in the things of God. Be lively in the things of God. I want to suggest things. This is what I want to suggest. Take fresh air.